everyone, my name is BlackWitchDirah. I'm a Luciferian witch of the left-hand path as well as an occult educator. Being an occult educator, I talk about a lot of different occult topics on this channel, and I post every Saturday at 8 PM UK time. I know I missed last week, I will get to that. Also, as an occult educator, I have several learning programs available. One that I'm particularly excited about is To Hex or Not to Hex, which I have polished off now and I am really happy with it. So the link to that is in the description, amongst all of my other learning programs and projects I've got going on at the moment. So please go and check those out. I've got a lot on at the moment because I'm preparing to move house. I've probably mentioned a lot to people over the years on social media with, you know, updates that I'm moving house, and I've moved probably 4 times since being on social media and publicly, like, you know, doing occultism. So yeah, I kind of move a lot, and I'd say my average is about every 18 months or so. I've been here 10 months and I fucking hate it, so I am getting the fuck out of here. I'm moving somewhere much more rural and I can't fucking wait. But anyway, I've been so busy with the logistics of all of that that yeah, I haven't quite stayed up to date on anything. So yeah, my bad. I also keep getting this like this like crazy fucking ADHD burnout where I will hyper focus for ages and then just be completely fucking out of it. So yeah, try not to beat myself up for things like that, you know, human, what can I do? So because I'm moving, I have to pack up all of my things, but I thought before I do that, why don't I go through some books that I've read over the last sort of 18 months to 2 years and kind of review them before I pack them away. So that's going to be the theme of today's video. So we are going to start with Thomas Carlson, one of my favourite occult authors, with Kabbalah, Qliphothic and Goetic Magic. This is probably my favourite book, or one of my favourite books that I've read ever. Breaks down just everything you need to know about the Qliphoth, in my opinion, and kind of like about working through it, and there's some really cool art in this as well. I initially read this as a PDF because the book in a physical copy apparently is like notoriously hard to get hold of, but when I was in Glastonbury I found it, and it was about £38, which I'm trying not to hold the book on my face, it blocks out the light. Yeah, it was about £38, which is a lot. It's also a paperback. I mean, it's quite a nice paperback, it's all shiny, but yeah, I came across it when I was like, I need a physical copy of this, so I bought it. I spent an ungodly amount of money in that bookshop that day. Absolutely broke my bank account that weekend because, I mean, it's Glastonbury. I had a lot of shit I wanted to buy and this was one of them. So yeah, like I said, I'd already read the PDF. It's a book I refer to a lot with my own Qliphothic work, especially when I need a sort of like reminder of where I'm at and what I kind of need to focus on. It's not just on the Qliphoth, it's also on Kabbalah, hence the title. So yeah, this goes like really in depth into just everything you need to know, and obviously it's got Goetic magic in here too, which it's not a huge section on it. But yeah, when it comes to my students, especially those doing Qliphothic stuff, I rant and rave about this one, so highly recommended. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. There's honestly nothing that I can say is wrong. I mean, people might think differently, but I really like Thomas Carlson, so yeah, that gets a 10 from me. Another Thomas Carlson book I read this year was Astral Projection. I also found this in said Glastonbury bookshop, and I was like, yep, I'll get that one too. And not as expensive as the not as expensive as the Kabbalah, Qliphoth and Goetic Magic one. It does reference the Qliphoth in here as well. Like I said, I love Thomas Carlson's work. This is really good for those that want to learn how to astral project. I think it breaks it down really practically. astral projection is a lot of work. You're not going to learn how to do it from a book. This book is not the key to astral projection. However, if you want to learn how you can start training yourself to do it, this is really helpful. I struggle personally with astral projection. I always have. It's something when I try and do it on purpose, I focus on it too much to the point where I'm not relaxed. Therefore, I tend to not get very far. When I astral project accidentally, it's a lot more successful. So for people like me who really struggle to relax, and therefore have difficulty with astral projection because it's like total relaxation of the body, you know, this book's really helpful. It helped me a lot, so highly recommend. Again, gonna give it a 10. Gonna give it, I sound like such a fucking Thomas Carlson arse licker, but I don't care. I love that. I love his stuff. On the theme of the clip-off, we also have The Tree of Life and Death, Transforming the Clip-Off by Ian Rees. And I met Ian Rees at Glastonbury, and I said, hello, yeah, you know, I read your book, I really like it. And then he went, what did you like about it? I'd read the book 18 fucking months ago and I couldn't remember a fucking thing on the spot. I was like, and I had to just literally pull something, like the tiniest fucking thing that I could remember, because like, it's not like I don't remember what's in it, like I do, but it was such an on-the-spot moment. I was like, I sound like such a twat. So yeah, that was a moment. This is great, especially more for the Tree of Life side of things. It's very informative, a bit chewy in some parts, but helpful. And there's anecdotal experience in here as well, which I like in books as well. I like to hear people's anecdotal experiences. Lots of knowledge in here to be consumed. Excellent stuff. So that gets an 8 from me. Sorry, Ian Rees, that I didn't, that I was just very awkward now in our interaction. This one, very interesting looking book. Clip-off Opus 3. It doesn't have the title on the front, but it's a lovely hardback. Oh, there's the pamphlet from the Gnostic Mass that I went to in Glastonbury. Well, I'll leave that in the... Oh my goodness, there's so many things in here. Okay, well, I won't be flicking through it. I'll just have to talk to you about it. But yeah, I don't know if this is the kind of general copy of this book. It was also very expensive from the Glastonbury bookshop. It's a very nice copy, so I'm assuming that's why it was a bit pricier. I think you can get Clip-off Opus 3. It's just like a paperback for a lot cheaper, but it's basically entries from a lot of different authors, just about various like clip-offic themes. I find that when I read certain material, I can end up channeling things, and actually this material can act as a portal to other realms, essentially, and kind of, it helps you kind of invoke things. I managed to invoke Lucifer while reading this, and I wrote notes in the back about our little interaction, and yeah, I was in trance, so some of it doesn't make sense now. I'm looking at it like, what? So yeah, I might have to revise that, but really, really good. It's gonna get a 10 out of 10. Again, I'm being very biased towards the clip-offic stuff. Maybe that's just because that's like my thing, like the thing I'm like most kind of ramped up about at the moment is my clip-offic work. Speaking of the kind of ability to invoke things through certain texts, Bible of the Adversary by Michael Ford. I also Lucifer showed up a couple of times while I was reading this and scared the shit out of me because I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, you know, settling down in bed, you know, ready, reading my nighttime book, and yeah, so that was quite unexpected. Very, very good book. Very good book. 9 out of 10. Really good book. Okay, what have we got now? Russian Black Magic by Natasha Helvin. It was okay. I mean, it's not my thing. I'm not a Russian black magician. It's always good to learn about how they do things. It's very dark, very, very, very dark stuff. You know, there's things about animal sacrifice in here, death spells, things like that. Really interesting. Probably a little bit too sadistic for me. You know, sadism has its place, but yeah, I think it's a little bit too far-fetched for me. But you know, always good to have the knowledge, I suppose. Really kind of good for inspiring, like if you're into your baneful magic, this could be very inspirational. If you want to sort of like take a few tips from it and stuff like that. Really good if you're also into your necromancy as well. There's a lot of necromancy in this. Not a beginner's book. If you're a beginner, read it for research, knowledge purposes, but don't you fucking dare start doing the things in this book because it's intense, okay? Little bit more of a beginner baneful magic book, I'd say. Utterly Wicked by Dorothy Morrison. This book was written in a very, I didn't even rate this one, 6 out of 10. Nothing really wrong with the book, just like not entirely like my cup of tea or what I practice. Like, it was good to read. But yeah, I mean, beyond that, it doesn't like benefit me, I suppose. So yeah, 6.5, it was good. It's still a good book, okay. Utterly Wicked, better for beginners in terms of baneful magic. Really good in terms of information, like lots of information in here. Recipes, oil recipes and whatnot, really good. I don't get on well with things that are written too casually, like someone is just talking and they're talking in like a really informal, like chatty way. I just don't really get on with it myself. It's not like my style that, you know, I like to read or write in. You know, obviously that's just the author's approach and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my cup of tea. But in terms of like the information, it's good. Also good tips for beginners in necromancy as well. So if you're someone that's like beginner in terms of like baneful magic or necromancy, you could buy my course. Or yeah, I mean, this is it's a great one for those that aren't as well versed in it. 6 out of 10, good information. I think I was a little bit too advanced. No, you can learn something new out of like whatever you read, but you know, I mean, sometimes you do just pick up these books, you're just like, yeah, I kind of already like knew this. But no, still a book that I would highly recommend. I really liked the section on puppet magic in this, very good section. And I learned some stuff about puppet magic that I didn't know before. So thank you, Dorothy Morrison. Very good book. Next one, Of Blood and Bones by Kate Fruler. Working with shadow magic and the dark moon. Yeah, it's a good book and it's very, very detailed as well. It's quite long. I mean, it depends what you class as long. It's not that long. It looks long, but it's not. And also the writing's really small on the page as well. So this is basically all about working with the dark moon, working with animal remains, blood and bones, right? I really liked this, and I got some tips from it in terms of like how to forage my own bones and you know, prepare them and everything. And also just some really nice rituals with regards to the dark moon. Some good baneful magic in here, pretty kind of like soft approach to it, I'd say, but you know, not soft, that's the wrong word, just like not too sinister, but still effective. The only thing that really irritated me in this book, right, was when basically she was giving like vegan alternatives to everything, which, okay, like I get like the inclusivity thing, but the book's called Of Fucking Blood and Bones. If you're a vegan and that's something you don't want to do, don't do it. She was like, oh, you can use branches instead of antlers, or there was one with like using a little bird's heart. She was like, you could use a beetroot. And I'm just like, oh, fuck off with your beetroot. Like, I'm sorry, I think it's stupid. I get it, it's still sympathetic magic, it can still work, but I just think, like, if you're working with dead things and you're vegan and you don't want to do it, then don't. Just accept that, like, that's something you don't do. Don't go fucking putting pins in beetroots. But I mean, do what you want. I just think it's a bit weird. I think it's a bit silly, and I just think that, like, you know, if you're working with death and you're working with shadow magic and the dark moon, that you kind of just need to get over that stuff, right? From an ex-militant vegan. Right, okay. Another one I got in Glastonbury. What's this one even called? It doesn't say it on the cover. No, it's Clavis Goetica. Now this required me a lot of concentration to read because it's very wordy. Essentially a necromancy book. Very good in terms of its information. Just, yeah, some really good stuff in here. Who is this by again? Who Are You By? Book by Freyta Asher. And yeah, really beautiful illustrations in here as well, like stunning. It's got a lot of history, and it basically depicts you know, some old kind of like ritual artifacts that they found, and they've sort of like tried to translate it. And yeah, I mean, it's just pretty much all about necromancy, really, and how it used to be practiced, and it gives you instructions on how, like, you can perform these, like, very old rituals. They're very lengthy, though. It's going to take you months to prepare for, so, you know, if you can be asked for that. But, yeah, good stuff. I keep forgetting to rate them. Of Blood and Bones gets a 7 out of 10. This one I'll probably give about the same. Actually, no, 7.5. Because I don't want to rank that the same as Of Blood and Bones, because it's a little bit more intellectual, and yeah. This one, Stellas Daemonum. I bought this ages ago and only read it like last year. Really, really good in terms of like classifications of demons. A lot to do with like their astrology correspondences, which is great because that's not spoken about a lot. It references many different grimoires, so like the Book of Offices, the Lesser Key of Solomon, and so on, and goes a lot into like historical references as well. So really good book for those studying demons. It's funny, it says Stellas Daemonum. Obviously, me being the blonde bimbo, right, there's a story behind this. At an event once, someone called me a bimbo Satanist behind my back. I'm not a Satanist, but yeah, when I picked up this book and I thought it said Stellas Daemonum, that was a bimbo Satanist moment. So yeah, it's Stellas Daemonum. I realised that when I actually started reading the fucking thing. Okay, Rites of Lucifer. I can't actually remember when I last read this. Probably like 2 years ago. Really, really good. If you want to deepen your work with Lucifer, really, really good book. Lots of like, it's like working with his deific mask, so like not just the Lucifer in one respect, but a lot of other respects as well. Didn't rate this fucking Stellas Daemonum. 9. And also a 9. Okay, next one. Love Magic, the World Domination Series, Spellbook 1, E.A. Coetting, Rose Crowley and Maggie Moon, Become a Living God. Oh, Dirah. Okay, right, so, I bought this, I bought this a long time ago. When it first came out, actually, which I can't remember when that was, but a while, like a few years now. And I've always liked Maggie Moon. So I thought, yeah, I'll buy it, you know, it's Maggie Moon. I skipped the bits that E.A. Coetting wrote. Regardless of my opinions on E.A. Coetting, I've never liked his style of writing. I can't do it. I don't I don't think he writes very well, okay? I'm not about to insert things about Become a Living God and what I think of all that stuff, but I loved Maggie Moon's section in this book. I think it's great. There's a really good servitor ritual in here. Lots of things. Yeah, but you know, just be careful with love magic, basically. It's really difficult for me to give this a rating because, you know, it is what it is. It belongs to the publishing house that it belongs to. So, can I not? I have to give it a rating, really, don't I? If it was just Maggie Moon, I'd probably give it an 8 or a 9. So we're only going to rate about this much of the book. That's what my rating depends on. Rose Crowley's bit was alright. I read about half of the E.A. Quetting stuff and I wasn't a fan. And I just thought, you know what, I just want to read what the rest of them, what the other two wrote. So I skipped it. I don't know what to give this one. I'm just going to rank the Maggie Moon section, give it an 8 or a 9. Rose Crowley was alright, I'll give that a 6, maybe a 7 actually. And we're just not going to rate the E.A. Questing bit, okay. On the theme of love magic, we've got sex magic. Aleister Crowley. It's not by Aleister Crowley, it's by Lon Milo Duquette. And it's basically like an analysis of Crowley's work. Really good stuff. I've highlighted bits in here because I did find it very enlightening. And it's got a nice Gnostic ritual in the back as well. And funnily enough, that was the ritual that I attended when I was in Glastonbury. Inspired by this, so that was really cool because I'd already read about the ritual and then I realised it was the ritual. I was like, oh sweet. So yes, really good nuggets in here. Really enjoyed it. 7.5 I'd say. I mean, in terms of like Gnostic rituals and stuff, they're, you know, they're group rituals, so it's not exactly things you can necessarily put into practice, but from a knowledge perspective, really, really good. Not really an occult book, but I did pick this up a while ago. Astrology, I mean, it is occult, but it's not a grimoire or anything. Astrology, magic, and alchemy and art. I used to be a massive art nerd, still am a little bit, because, you know, I took art. I did all art subjects at college, so I love art analysis, and especially when there is occultism in art, I love that shit. So this was nice. I mean, you don't really read a lot in here. There's only like tiny little bits of text, and you know, like the odd page with a few paragraphs. Yeah, not really a conventional occult book, but for those that, you know, are interested in art, you know, I thought I'd rank it in here and give it probably like, it's hard to rank it because it's so different from the rest, but like as a book as a whole, like probably a 7 or an 8. And our last book today is going to be Financial Sorcery by Jason Miller. I got this in Watkins in London. What I really like about this book is it's not just about, it's not money spells. Like there are money spells in here, but the whole point in the book isn't telling you how to do a money spell, because, you know, there are thousands of ways in which you can do a money spell, and you know, they probably, a lot of them are going to get you the results you want, you know, depending on how realistic they are. You know, the amount of people, I want a lottery spell. Get a job. So, yeah, what I really like about this book is it's a lot about mindset. And it's a lot about just like your general financial etiquette. It's like, okay, if you're broke, why are you broke? Are you not saving? Are you living beyond your means? Are you in debt? How can you handle your debt? Do a spell with Saturn to conquer your debt. Things like, it's really kind of like based on problem solving, and based on long-term wealth, and a lot of planetary magic as well. And I feel like planetary magic is kind of, it's slept on a little bit. I don't see a lot of people talking about planetary magic that much. Like, obviously, most of us will do spells on certain days because of the planetary correspondences. But in terms of like the more intricate stuff, I don't see that so much. So there's a lot about working with Jupiter in here, which is really cool. job finding magic, managing money, debt killing strategies. It talks about something called your set point. So, you know, how we all have like a comfort zone, and how like somewhat we might actually be a little bit scared to go beyond that comfort zone, and then that sets us back financially because we're not building wealth and we're not expanding. Really, really good. So I'm gonna give that a solid 9. I really liked it. And that is all that we have for today. Those are some of the books that I've read over the last year or so, year or two rather, and have particularly stood out to me. So I've currently got another 3 that I'm reading at the same time, because 1 is never enough, and I've not read any of them recently because I think, right, yep, I'm gonna read this one, and then something jumps out at me and I feel compelled to read something else. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm reading at the moment. I also happen to be writing my own book, which I've mentioned a few times in videos. How's that going? It's going okay. It's going okay. I haven't touched it in 2 months. I figure that like once I move and once I'm settled, and I will also be just in a much more kind of like peaceful setting where I'm not surrounded by drugs and homelessness all the time, that once I'm in a more peaceful setting I'll be able to write and have just a bit more of a clear head once I'm a bit more settled. I do have a publisher interested, so that's good. I've just got to write the fucking thing. I've just got to finish the fucking thing. Yeah, so that's a work in progress, and I honestly can't wait to feel more grounded so I can get back to it. So yeah, that's just a little update on my book. So I've got no projected date for that to come out just now, but when I do, I will let you know. Anyway, that is all for this video today, so thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next Saturday.